Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the Furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 13, episode 6, and today we play the first of two crucial games against opposition around us as we look to try and stake a claim for European football next year and sneak that 7th place spot in the league, which will allow us to go into the Europa League qualifying. We've got 9th place Tottenham, who are 7 points behind us, and then next weekend we've got our bogey side Everton, who sit 2 points above us in 6th at the moment. It's been a fantastic season. We've got an FA Cup quarter final to look forward to as well, and this could turn out to be the best progress we've made in a season for some time, as we could be on our way into Europe. I was going to show you the Everton game as they're a lot closer to us in the league, but I thought the home games we've tended to compete a bit better this year, so I wanted to show you that one. In addition to the game today, we'll also have our youth intake. Whether it's before or after the Everton game, we'll make sure we come back to show it on camera. We're missing a couple of players today. We've got an injury to Lydio, the left back, and one of our young strikers, Palmer's out too, but it doesn't affect our starting 11 too much. Tottenham missing just the one player as well. Of course, their former goalkeeper Badger's still in goal for us. If you haven't met him yet, go back and check out the last episode. We had a big January signing in goal, and he's certainly someone you'll want to meet, as he'll be a key figure for the rest of this series. But let's quickly go and have a look at the schedule, see what's been happening since you were last with me. You joined me for that fantastic win against Manchester City, where we won 3-1 courtesy of a brace of penalties from Lee Rutherford, part of his hat-trick on the day. You obviously know we drew 0-0 with Middlesbrough because that was on transfer deadline day, which we also discussed towards the end of the episode. Normally I try and sell it as a brilliant thing you've got to see, but if we're being brutally honest, nothing happened on deadline day. I'm not ashamed to say that it wasn't worth seeing. So if you have missed the last episode, go back and watch the game, but don't worry about the transfer deadline bit at the end. Let's go on to February though, where we played our FA Cup 4th round replay. A brilliant 3-0 win away to Palace. They are a championship side, armed with the likes of Owen Jack, of course, who was a former star for us in years gone by. We were in a bit of a luxury position where we could play our first 11 for this one, which is why it was so important we got at least a draw in the original tie. We didn't have a game for a week and a half afterwards, so we managed to get away with it. The first team went out, and then Diego Souza, the youngster, came on the right wing, and he managed to nick a late goal as well. We then drew 1-1 away to Chelsea in the Premier League, and you can see it was in the most dramatic style possible. Hernan with a 93rd minute equaliser. After a game in which we'd been absolutely dominated, Chelsea failed to put us to the sword and only had a 1-goal lead. There's the proof, if you needed it, that that's always dangerous, as Hernan turned up after an awful game with a fantastic strike in the last minute. We then played our 5th round FA Cup tie against Watford. Of course, no replays, as is the case in real life now, so we won it in extra time 2-1. Lee Rutherford again getting the winner after Lydio scored a good early goal. We then won 1-0 away to Wolves in the Premier League. Again a late winner, this time from James Hayes, as he replaced Omar early in the first half after he picked up a little bit of a knock. Hayes scored a brilliant goal there, and then a 2-1 win at home to Blackburn. Disastrous from the Blackburn goalkeeper, gifting it to Lee Rutherford after he tripped over the ball and he just tapped it into the empty net to win it with 10 minutes to go. So we've now got Tottenham and Everton coming up, two really crucial games, and they're followed by Southampton at home, who, if I go back and show you the league table, are right up there as well in 8th place alongside us. So we've got the 3 sides closest to us in the next 3 games, and basically 2 out of the 4 of us are going to be in 6th and 7th and make it into the Europa League next year, providing there's no shocks in the FA Cup. Of course we could get to the final and win that. That would solve any potential problem that could come up. I just want to go and check the Carabao Cup as well to make sure we hadn't lost out on anyone there. Let's see who won the final. Chelsea nicked that, so we haven't got any concerns in that area. It will all boil down to the League and FA Cup. We've got Manchester City in the quarter final of the Cup. I'm not going to show that one on camera, mainly because I expect to lose it, and secondly because if we get to the latter stages of it, we want to show you the semi and final. So this may well be the last league game of the season, unless we get into a real tight tussle for Europe, but we have got 3 friendly games at the end of the year, so hopefully that'll see us over the line. Fingers crossed these lads can keep it up. They've been brilliant so far this season, considering the disastrous start we had on the first day. But enough talk off the pitch, let's go and focus on the game, and then we'll be looking for our youth intake. The most important part of this series, can we develop a homegrown squad that can compete at the top of the Premier League? Imagine winning the Premier League, FA Cup or Champions League with 6 or 7 homegrown players at the club. It would be an absolute dream for us, and I really would like to make it happen. It's something I managed in FM18 before I started doing videos on YouTube. I was managing York City and we managed to get a few in there. We had a brilliant world-class striker, and I'm hoping we'll be able to replicate that here. We're slight favourites to beat Tottenham at home, which says a lot about how far we've come. We've never won against them in our previous 6 meetings, but the media seem to think we can do it today. Alex Neil's in charge of them, a manager who turned up in Serie A in our other series. I'm sure we managed against him with Napoli. If you're not up to date with that one, we are abroad for the first time this season, so do go back and check that one out as well. You can see in our starting lineup, we're pretty much going for the tried and tested today. Hernaner's got the worst average rating in the squad, but fortunately he keeps popping up with late goals, so we're not going to complain about that too much. We have got Gonzalez, who we signed in January, should we need to displace him from the team, but for now I'm content with how we're performing. We're not going to worry about too much at the moment. We've got Badger, the new signing, in goal against his former club. Lonergan, Irwin and Quirk are the fullbacks. Recchio's made his way into the centre of defence now, alongside Lucas Badger, with Leclerc obviously relegated to the bench. Bacanez in the holding role with Lappin and Omar in central midfield. We've had a few slight knocks for Omar recently, so hopefully he'll make it through 90 today. And then Hernaner and Kozol on the wings behind Rutherford up front, who continues to improve on his good scoring form. 18 this season already, and the majority of those in the league as well. I think it might be his best Premier League campaign. It almost is. He's just one away from his 28-29 season, where half of it he was on loan and half of it permanent. In that one he scored 16 goals, so just one more to equal the tally. He's done it in less games so far, and we'll be delighted if he can get to 20. So let's get into this game. We've got the usual assortment on the bench if needed, and hopefully they'll be able to be some game changers if we need them late on in the match. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Spurs, a lot of familiar names from previous games against them. They've also got a couple of real players too. Frankie de Jong, the much talked about midfielder, just gone from Ajax to Barcelona in real life. Angus Gunn in goal, the youngster in real life from Manchester City, who obviously went to Southampton a year or two ago. And then there's a couple of regens we recognise there, Notre, Francesco and Charlton, who have really done well against us in the past. A bit too late for Harry Kane now. I don't think he's even in the squad today. So let's go and tell the lads to prove a point. That's what Stuart Jelling recommends. Still our assistant manager going strong. He was just given a new contract by our director of football. I know it's not the head coach, but I do still involve our director of football a bit, particularly in staffing issues. They've been pretty good in making sure that we develop off the pitch as well as on it, and this one's been plenty good enough, so Stuart Jelling will be with us for the foreseeable. We've got a free kick on the left early on, but we don't get to see it as the highlight ends, and now we've got a long throw on the right. Quirk takes it to Hernaner and it falls back to Lappin. Out to the edge of the box, and now can Spurs counter. They've got two men over on the left hand side and we're not up with them. Charlton's in. We mentioned in pre-game he cuts it back, but it deflects off the defender and into the grateful arms of Badger. He wasn't saving it if that went to the striker, so we're delighted that it fell for us nicely. It's Jones Dodds with a throw on the right for Tottenham. He gets it back after it's cleared away. Notre Francesco to Jones Dodd again. Now Frankie de Jong, who we highlighted pre-game too. Up to the attacking midfielder, but it's cleared away and it's fallen for Torquay in the Spurs half. Jones Dodd on the right hand side delivers to the back post and Quirk heads it away, but it falls to the edge. A couple of deflections, but it falls to Badger. A free kick's been given for offside, but after 10 minutes Spurs are just starting to get on top. They've had more of the possession, but we're still holding them out for a 0-0. 25 minutes gone, it's Richard Quirk with a throw on the right. Rutherford coming deep to take the ball in a good position. Omar gets it back to Rutherford again, beats one man and shoots, just wide of the post from the edge of the box. An unfortunate bit of luck for him, but he wasn't going to trouble the keeper from there. It's Rutherford on the left, we've got a free kick in another dangerous position. This one into the side netting. I'm not sure why we needed to see that. 10 minutes to the break, it remains goalless. 3 minutes to half time, Tottenham got a dangerous free kick on the left hand side. They floated it up to the box, but Badger heads away. He's been brilliant in the air all season. Rutherford getting caught a bit deep there, goes back to Badger. What's happened there? Badger makes a fantastic save to recover, but he almost made a howler against his former club. Wasn't the best ball back from Rutherford, nearly lobbed his own keeper. Reminds me of that old Lee Dixon goal from the 90s, where he lobs the keeper from 30 or 40 yards. Thankfully Badger managed to get ahead on it, but it went straight to the Spurs striker. He put a brilliant shot away, but Badger made a fantastic save. He's done the same again there from across into the box, and now we're back at the other end with Rutherford. Just 1 minute to the break. We've still got those same 6 or 7 empty seats in the Torquay Stadium. Although it says we're getting a capacity sellout every time, maybe it's just they're going for refreshments early on before the half-time whistle, but that wouldn't explain why those seats are empty the whole time, despite the attendance telling us we've sold out. But it is half-time, we've yet to have a shot on target. Spurs have had the 4, it's not been the best game in truth. We're going to assertively tell tell the lads to prove a point, just as we did at the start of the game, and we're going to drop to a balanced mentality, not change any of our other tactics. We just want to be a little bit more cautious without going too defensive. It's Raphael to De Jong from the Spurs kickoff. Hopefully we'll hold them off in the second half as well. In these 3 games, if we drew them all 0-0, I'd be absolutely delighted, and it's almost like you can tell I've moved to Italy in the other save, is I'm turning into a far more pragmatic manager, as Charlton shoots for Tottenham, and it's a good save from Badger. Comfortably held, and he'll roll it out. Lonergan Irwin can build from the back. Instead he just goes for a big long punt downfield, but luckily it falls to Omar. He gets it to Lappin on halfway. Hernan to Richard Quirk, and back inside to Lappin again. He's got a man over on the left, but it's an underhit pass, though we've been given an absolute gift. Jones Dodd tries to head it away, but he accidentally goes straight across goal. There's no defender there. It falls for Lee Rutherford one-on-one, and he doesn't make a mistake from that sort of range, slotting it beautifully into the corner. He beats the Spurs keeper, and we nick a 1-0 lead. Hopefully with our first shot on target scoring, we don't need another one in this game. If we can see it out for a clean sheet, that would be absolutely remarkable. De Jong gets it inside to Duque though, as it looks like Spurs are coming straight back at us. Ramos at centre half for them. Long ball down the left, Quirk heads away, and Hernan can bring it forward. 2 would be a quick sucker punch. He's put Rutherford in as well, edge of the box with a shot, and Angus Gunn makes a brilliant save to his right, tipping it wide for a corner. Lee Rutherford's come to life. He scores so many goals like that, it can't be a fluke. The mix of having the tactic on to prevent the short goalkeeper distribution, putting the defence under pressure, and the fact that he places shots as well, my favourite trait in a striker, and it's shown to be effective there as we manage our second shot on target of the match. We lead 1-0 with almost an hour gone, and now we're attacking again with air. It falls for Lappin, who shoots from the edge, but it's blocked and cleared away again. Quirk gets it into the middle, Lauren hacks it away, and with his weak foot he can only put it out for a corner. It's Kozel who's going to deliver the in-swinger, and it's been a long old highlight this one. Hernan gets it wide to Kozel again. Spurs dealing with the set piece easily. The assistant referee's flag went up, and we had a little glitch there while it happened, but it is 1-0 with an hour gone. We'll make some substitutions in a few moments. 25 minutes to go, we're back with Kozel on the left hand side. Jones Dodd looked like he fouled him there. It does eventually go into the box, but it's hacked away as far as Badger. Baccanes finds Richard Quirk. We keep the ball in the middle. No idea why we saw that. It's De Jong with a free kick on the left for Spurs. He finds Nota Francesco out to the centre half, and now they're going to come wide. Ramos with the ball on the right hand side. Can they get it into the box? They're being forced backwards at the moment. Our shape's working really well, but it wouldn't stop a screamer. Charlton goes into Raphael. Brilliant block by Recchio. Kozel hacks it away, but there's no Torquay player there. 20 to go. We'll see out this highlight as Lonergan Irwin's made a howler. Brilliant save by Badger again. Aside from that one nearly awful moment he had, which Lee Rutherford didn't help with, he has made some blinding saves today, and he could be the hero at the end of this match. His rating's into the 7s, and just as I say that, he gets caught in no man's land. Why did I bother saying that? Raphael heads it into the empty net from 4 or 5 yards as the keeper was absolutely lost. It's 1-1 and it looks like it's going to be a draw. We've certainly given away a sloppy goal there. Let's go and make a few changes, although we've got another highlight first. Let's see out the Spurs corner. Raphael loses out to Badger this time. The keeper didn't worry about coming, although his rating has stayed in the 7s, so maybe it wasn't his fault after all. Omar wins a tackle in the middle and it falls for De Jong. He gets it to Nota Francesco. Back to De Jong again. Spurs keeping the ball beautifully in the middle, and they really are starting to get on top now. We might have to demand a bit more from the lads just to make sure they don't get caught out. They seem to have lost a bit of confidence from the goal as Duque will shoot from the edge. It's a brilliant block from Lonergan Irwin though. 15 to go, it's 1-1, and we're going to go and make some changes. So let's look at who we want to take off. Recchio's not had a good game, so Leclerc's going to come on for him. We'll switch them around, and that might have to go back to our partnership now, as that's 2 poor games in a row for Recchio after a decent spell in the first team. Omar's got through 75 minutes without injury. Hayes will come back on for him, and then who else can we bring on the right or left? We've got McGregor or Gonzalez to come on. Normally Hernandez the one that comes off, so Kozel with a game in 4 days time, and the fact he's got a slightly lower condition will be replaced by McGregor for the last 15. Let's get back into the game. We've demanded more from the lads with a touchline shout, and hopefully both of those things will invoke a response and we'll be able to do something special in the last 10. It's Spurs with a free kick now though. Charlton for the shot to the keeper's right. Badger makes a comfortable save and he does well to hold it. He's our man of the match at the moment despite that goal, and now he's got another corner to deal with. De Jong into the front post is cleared off the line. Hernan did brilliantly there, and Charlton's got aerial prowess as well as being a good left winger. He heads one wide of the post there, beating the centre half Leclerc, and with 5 to go we may well hang on, but we might have to go a bit defensive in a moment. 3 minutes of stoppage time to come. We're back with McGregor on the left-hand side. He's lost the ball in the middle and De Jong's got it. Spurs are coming forward over halfway, but they don't look in too much of an urgent state to get forward. Maybe they're happy with a point as well. De Jong to Charlton on the left-hand side. Into Nota Francesco in the middle. He's got options left again, but they're not coming forward too quickly. Spurs run to the edge of the box and go for a speculative effort, but it's over the bar, and it looks like that'll be the last chance of the game. Just 10 seconds left, and we're going to play out a 1-1 draw. A really decent result, and a thoroughly good performance too. McGregor heads the ball away and the whistle does finally go. Everyone else had played before us, so we're not too disappointed with the result. Rutherford showing his predatory instincts and us getting a point against our rivals. It means they can't close the gap, and that's all that matters with 9 or 10 games to go. We'll tell the lads they were unlucky, and we'll go and see what the media have said about the game. A 1-1 draw leaves us in 7th place. Obviously Tottenham don't close the gap to us. Southampton remain 6 points behind, and Everton have their game in hand. They're just 1 point ahead of us now. We face them at the weekend, so it's going to be a crucial game, but really we're not going to catch them at this rate. We just need to make sure we secure ourselves 7th. The media said that Tottenham labour to a draw. They're putting the blame on them rather than our defensive display, so we're not going to complain about that. We'll deal with the press conference off camera because the youth intake's more important, and we've now got an unbeaten record of 11 league games, and it includes the likes of Tottenham, Chelsea and City, so that's a really fantastic achievement. There are a few draws in there and quite a few favourable games, but that doesn't take the gloss off our longest Premier League unbeaten run. So we'll go and deal with this press conference and skip forward to the future. Whether it's before the Everton game or not, we'll be back in a moment with the youth intake. Okay, it's youth intake time. We're back to look at our latest crop of youngsters. We haven't looked at the message yet, as you can see. Warren Hawk's dying to tell us what's going on, so let's go and have a little look at it. You can see it's now the 11th of March, so we have played Everton off camera as well. We will go and have a quick look at that in a moment, but I don't want to make you wait any longer. Let's click on the message and hope we get the golden generation. Unfortunately, it's the worst message of the lot. Just one player standing out as potentially a decent player. He's an attacking midfielder and striker, so he might not fit into our shape anyway, and that couldn't have been more underwhelming. I was really hopeful it'd be a special one. Let's go and have a look at the team though. No one with any real star quality. When's the last time we had a youth intake this bad? I know we were probably due one, but let's be honest, we didn't want it to be this year. So the highest potential player is a young centre-half called Thomas Makuti. A brilliant name that is, by the way. He can't head the ball to save his life. He's unambitious, left-footed only, which is a little bit strange. Quite versatile, but I don't think he's going to make it. The one that was highlighted in the youth intake, one of the 3 players with 3-star potential, but the only one with 1-star current ability, Robbie Shepherd-Breeden, another pretty decent name in truth, another striker that can't finish. I'm not quite sure why we keep producing those, but he doesn't look like he's going to make it for us, although he probably will make it as a professional footballer. That's what we want to focus on with this crop, but I'm a bit disappointed we haven't found a star. It's going to make me more determined to get Richard Quirk back here in the summer, although that looks pretty unlikely too, and I could not be more disappointed with that. I'm sure you can tell I sound pretty deflated. Let's quickly go and see what the other messages were. I don't think there was anything exciting there, so let's quickly look at the Everton result, and that was disappointment as well, I'm afraid. A 1-0 defeat away at Everton, a late goal from a corner after we'd really defended astutely all game, but unfortunately we do lose ground in the race for the top 7, or do we in fact? Because if we look at the weekend's results, taking away our one away at Everton, you can see Tottenham were held at Brentford, who were in 19th place in the league, and then Southampton lost at home to 2nd place Chelsea. Another brilliant result for us. So only 1 point between the two of them, and we keep our 6-point gap to Tottenham, although they have got a better goal difference, so it is effectively 5 rather than 6. But in a brilliant position with 8 games to go. We've got some friendly games towards the end of the season, there's a couple of hard ones in the meantime, and we've obviously got the FA Cup to worry about. So let's go and have a look at the schedule. I'm not going to promise a game will be back yet. I'm going to say it's going to be around the middle of April. So we've got Arsenal at home in the Premier League on the 19th, and that could be replaced the week before with an FA Cup semi-final. So if we end up in one of those, you'll obviously see that game. But if we're back for Arsenal, you know we've faced disappointment against City. I've got a bit of a dilemma for this midweek. Do I rest players against Southampton? A result that can pretty much secure us a top 7 place and European football for next year, but at the expense of a chance at winning the FA Cup. I'm really a little bit torn by this. I guess we've got to be realistic. Our best chance of getting getting into Europe is finishing 7th, so maybe we do have to prioritise that, and hopefully with 4 days in between, we can rest a few in training and get away with it. We've got a 2-week international break afterwards. Hopefully everyone won't go off and get injured, but if you did enjoy this episode and that brilliant performance against Tottenham, please do put a thumbs up on the video. We had to deal with a bit of an attacking onslaught from the away side, but we got the point and maintained our gap to them. That's the important bit of this stage of the series. Richard Quirk's ineligible for this midweek game, so here's one player who will be fresh for the FA Cup, but aside from that we've got some decisions to make. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the performance. What did you think of the youth intake? I was absolutely deflated by it, but I guess you can't have a good one every year. Do you think we'll be able to sneak into the top 7? I'm interested to know your thoughts. The last 3 games of the season look pretty friendly to me, but could that be a stumbling block if those guys are fighting against relegation still? Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories, this one with Torquay United and then our journeyman series The Head Coach. We moved clubs at the start of this season and we're managing abroad for the first time, so do go and check it out if you're not up to date with the series. And then we've got 3 episodes a week from Cricket 19, the official game of the Ashes. We're doing an Ashes test playthrough at the moment before we start our career mode in a couple of weeks. I can't thank you enough for all of your support with that one. I'm really delighted with how well it's gone down. We continue our weekly Snooker 19 career as well. That's every Friday at 4:30. But a massive thanks for watching and your continued support with this series. I really do appreciate it. I hope you'll join me again for the next one as we play another big game in the run-in.